I had a procedure at 17 weeks, pregnant with a child that had moved from the vagina into the cervix. And that procedure that you just talked about was a procedure that I endured.
California Democratic Congresswoman Jackie Speier joins me now. She gave that courageous speech. Congresswoman, you shared on Twitter yesterday these words, "My abortion saved my life." So I have to ask you, what was your reaction when you heard the news that Roe was overturned?
I'm still carrying this pit in my stomach, Jim, because I realized that the luxury, frankly, that I had, the ability to have that abortion, is being taken away from women today across this country. Half of the women in this country, 30 million women of childbearing age, are going to lose the right to have an abortion in their state. We've never had this kind of a Supreme Court decision that took away the rights of people. And it is confounding so many of us that they could be so extreme as members of the Supreme Court. We will not let this stand. We are going to do whatever is necessary to retain the ability for women to access abortion services. Women of color and poor women are the ones most hard hit because they don't have the resources to get child care and take airline flights to those states that provide it. But we're going to find a way. I'm absolutely convinced of it. And medication abortion is something that every woman should be knowledgeable about. 54% of women who have abortions today have them with medication abortion. It's a pill. It's a 2-pill scenario, and it's something that can be taken in the privacy of your home. We've got to make sure that's readily available to women everywhere.
And Congresswoman, this new CBS poll shows 59% of Americans and 67% of women do not approve of the Supreme Court's decision. I guess this is not all that surprising, but it's clear this ruling does not reflect the majority of the country. Democrats are looking for some way to fight this, but President Biden is saying he doesn't want to expand the Supreme Court. He doesn't want to get rid of the filibuster. What is your message to women right now who want to do something about this?
Well, we have to pick up 2 seats in the Senate. And then we've got to implore Susan Collins to join with the Democrats in doing what's called the nuclear option. That means getting rid of the filibuster for purposes of abortion services. And I think a strong case can be made to Susan Collins, the senator, that she was lied to by Justice Kavanaugh and by Justice Gorsuch, and that she relied on their statements in which they said, I'm not the kind of judge that's going to rock the boat. It's settled law. And because she relied on those statements that were false, that she now feels compelled to join with the Democrats in getting rid of the filibuster rules, which would require 60, and then it would only need 51 votes in order to pass what is the codification of Roe versus Wade.
And one of your colleagues, New York Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, said today that Supreme Court justices who lied under oath about Roe versus Wade during their nomination should face consequences for that. Let's take a listen to that. Let me get your reaction.
If we allow Supreme Court nominees to lie under oath and secure lifetime appointments to the highest court of the land and then issue without basis, if you read these opinions, issue without basis rulings that deeply undermine the human and civil rights of the majority of Americans, we must see that through. There must be consequences for such a deeply destabilizing action and hostile takeover of our democratic institutions.
Congresswoman, I have to ask, I mean, do you believe, I guess, two-part question, did they lie and should they face consequences?
There's no question they lied, and they did that under oath. So there should be consequences. I agree with Congresswoman making them pay. I don't know exactly what that can be, except it's impeachment. And of course, that takes a 2/3 vote in both houses. The most important thing right now, though, is making sure that women are going to be able to access these services, and that these states that have these draconian laws, I mean, they're almost Taliban-esque when you think about it. They're third world-like pronouncements that have been made and laws that have been passed. And we've got to find a way of protecting women who need these services. And I might also add, Jim, there has been nothing said about the fact that a woman doesn't get pregnant with immaculate conception. There's an impregnator, and there's not a word that's been said about the responsibility of the impregnator. So for all those states that are now saying a woman can't get an abortion, I would suggest to their legislature that they require the impregnator to put up a $350,000 bond so that this mother can take care of that child.
And, you know, I was speaking with Congresswoman Debbie Dingell yesterday. She floated the idea of term limits for justices. Do you think there should be term limits for Supreme Court justices?
You know, there has been a bill by Congressman Ro Khanna that's been introduced. I think we should actually look at that. I think that we have gone past the time in our country when judges were truly judicial. They are now individuals that are selected, particularly on the Republican side, by what's called the Federalist Society, and they have been screened around this particular issue. And that of guns. And we've seen two decisions come down in 2 days that overturn, on the one hand, states' ability to put conditions on concealed weapons, and then on the other hand, take away the rights in Roe and say, now we're shifting it to the states. They also said that if you're going to use the 14th Amendment, this right to privacy, this due process argument, you have to go into history and look at the roots of history and tradition in making these decisions. Well, if that's the case, you know, maybe we should go back to using muskets in this country. I mean, they can't have it both ways. On the one side, they want to say free to carry. On the other side, they're saying forced to carry. And I find it absolutely repulsive.
All right, Congresswoman Jackie Speier, thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Jim.
All right. Live pictures now of the abortion rights protests happening right now at the Supreme Court and in Los Angeles. Now there is concern about what could happen next. Justice Clarence Thomas using his opinion on Roe versus Wade to target other rights, including same-sex marriage. We'll get reaction from the lead plaintiff in the case that made marriage equality the law of the land. It's coming up.